So one of the easiest mistakes to make when coming up with the structure of a base in Airtable is to accidentally create a table which is full of wide data. And what I mean by that is that you know that you're going to keep collecting data over time. And by facilitating that, what you're trying to do is you're continually adding more and more columns to record the results. So in this example, we have students who are giving us a response each week. And so to facilitate that, we keep adding in another column with another week number in order to house that student's responses that week. So this is a good way of recognizing that you're actually going in the wrong direction. Typically, when you create really wide data like this, it's from a survey. And the first thing you want to do is take all of that data from lots of different columns that are alongside each other and turn them into something that we would call like tall data or vertical data. So something that runs vertically. And essentially what we're trying to do is just smush all of these columns into one column. So instead of trying to do this in a single table where you have just the student and then each week you have a response from them, you can keep your students table but delete all of your vertical columns. And instead, you'll want to link your students to a second table called responses. So here I'm going to have a first response from Arnold, one of our students. I'll just delete these other responses. And this is now the only value that we'll have each week. So this is the answer that is given each week by each student. I've just got in here response good or bad. And then finally, we fill in the week number. And what that means is that each week, when we get a response from that student, we're going to add on the week number that it is. Week number is just one way of looking at it. You could also just use created time to figure out when the response was sent. But this is essentially how you would want to format that data so that now the longer and longer we use this this table, all that's going to happen is we're going to add more and more records going down instead of creating data that goes horizontally. Because you've now separated the responses from the student, that also means that you can use Airtable's lookup and rollup features to do something with the data that you're collecting. So if you wanted to get a number of how many goods versus bad, we could do a quick count on responses and say, I want only where the response is good. And I could also count number of bad. So that's not something you're going to be able to do easily if you have that wide data. But now, because we have those two separate tables, you can start reading and performing operations on those responses. Hope that helps.